Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, it's your girl, Courtney Sanders, and I'm a full-time entrepreneur, wife, mom, and I am on a journey to have it all without it all falling apart. That means building my business without burning out and achieving financial independence without giving up my free time or time with my family. And in today's video, I'm gonna talk about the 5 things I wish I would have known before I started my business. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first lesson that I wish I would have known that I tell people all the time is I wish I would have been clear on my business model. Now, I know a lot of people get really excited because, they want to quit their job, they're tinkering online and they do something that makes money, right? Maybe they host a webinar and they make $20,000 in sales, or they, run some Facebook ads and they make their first $10,000 or something. And they're like, this is it. They're going into work, looking at their boss crazy. They're like, I'm not fired, you're fired. I quit, I'm out of here. I get it. I've been there. I remember when I made my first $1,000, I walked into work like, I don't need none of y'all. I'm about to leave. I don't need none of y'all. I made $1,000 on my own last night. But I'm gonna tell you, your big sis Courtney, who's been there, slow your roll. So it's super exciting when you make your first significant amount of money, but I've seen far too many people, and I kind of did this a little bit, I've seen far too many people quit their jobs excited about something that they did that made money, and they didn't realize that that way of making money was not sustainable. So the way you're making money may or may not be sustainable for a variety of reasons, but that's where your business model comes in. So in my experience, I made a lot of money that allowed me to quit my job because I was doing a lot of one-on-one business coaching. However, once I quit my job and I was able to take on more clients, I found that I actually didn't like the one-on-one business coaching. It was taking up too much of my time and it was pulling me away from some of the other aspects of my business that I really wanted to grow, namely digital products, writing books, speaking engagements, etc. And so I found that I couldn't really grow my business because I was spending so much of my time devoted to helping my clients grow their businesses and working on business coaching. So I never really had an opportunity to pour into my own business. And not only that, I found that I was in this feast or famine mode all the time because I would get all these clients and then I would just, lock down and just focus on them and I wouldn't be marketing my business. And so when their coaching engagements ran off and I needed more new clients, then suddenly I was on a mad dash to find more clients. So I say all that to say, get clear on your business model, especially before you quit your job. The second thing I wish I would have known was that you need to protect yourself, namely protect your identity and protect your credit. So I'm a very open person. I'm an open book. I talk about all kinds of things on this YouTube channel and on my podcast. And I actually had an incident where I believe a listener of my podcast attempted to steal my identity. And they actually stole some money from me, from my bank. I was able to work it out, but it was a huge headache. It happened right before I was getting ready to leave the country, which was another headache. And I actually think that was on purpose. I think the person knew this particular timing that I was getting ready to go on a trip because I had talked about it on social media, so the streets is watching. So I wish I would have known to better protect myself and protect my identity because I had to kind of go behind and clean up after the incident happens. So make sure that you do have identity theft protection. Make sure that your credit is monitored. I really love Credit Sesame, who's actually a sponsor for this video. I've been a customer with them for a while now, and I do have credit monitoring with them, and I regularly check my credit score. So that will save you a world of trouble. But if you're trying to grow your business, obviously you need to put yourself out there. You need to be on social media. There are people with dubious intentions who will be watching your every move, trying to figure out how they can take advantage of you. So protect yourself. Going along those lines, the third thing that I wish I would have known before I started my business, or at least before I quit my job, is how to do a business budget and how to manage my business finances. If I'm honest, this is just something that I've recently really hunkered down and learned how to do. And kind of going back to what I was talking about in the first lesson that I wish I would have known when it comes to knowing my business model, I got away with not knowing business finances or business budgeting for so long because I was making like large amounts of money in a short period of time. And so, when you make in the cash, it covers a multitude of sins, as they say. So I kind of was able to float for a while and not really face the music with how bad my business finances were and how bad my business budgeting was, because, you know, as quickly as I was spending money was coming in. But when I had my son, I really had to slow down on my business. I couldn't take on coaching clients, which was a whole nother issue, because then it was like, oh my goodness, how am I going to make money? And so my revenue really took a hit during that time, especially like the beginning first few months when I had my son, until I could kind of figure it out and come up with a new business model. So now that we're more on the upswing and I'm kind of out of that dip, I'm learning my lesson, and I'm spending a lot of time focusing on business budgeting, making sure that I don't have unnecessary expenses, and just really looking at my finances before I decide to bring on team or before I decide to sign up for that new subscription or whatever. Side note, a book that I really recommend is Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. I think that's how you say his last name. It's a great book if you're an entrepreneur at any size in order to get your business finances in order. Okay, the fourth thing that I wish I would have known before I started my business is that my time is valuable, and your time is valuable too. Time is valuable. What you talking about, Courtney? All right, everyone says, oh, you know, my time is valuable, and, you know, they act like they know their worth, but I find that most entrepreneurs actually don't know their worth, literally. Why I can say that is because they sell products and they never factor in how much of their time they put into creating that product or that service. Now, if you're selling a product, inevitably you will factor in, okay, it cost me this much to make the product or this much in raw materials or what have you, but no one factors in how much time it takes them to personally do the project, or how much time it personally takes them to create the product. It's actually worse when it comes to service-based entrepreneurs and digital entrepreneurs. If you're like me and your business is based on creating digital products, it can be very easy to say, oh, I can sell this for, you know, X amount of dollars because whatever, it's a digital product and it didn't cost me anything to make it. That's not true. How many hours did it cost you to, you know, write the ebook or to record the video or to record the audio? Even if you've outsourced it, maybe you've outsourced graphic design to a VA or editing of the book or what have you to somebody else, you have to factor in their time as well. So I wish I would have known to factor in my own personal time when I was coming up with pricing, because I feel like I would have felt more satisfied with a lot of those earlier programs that I was selling and the prices that I was selling them for. In short, I kind of ripped myself off because I didn't realize how valuable my time was and I wasn't factoring my time into the process. So make sure you know your time is valuable. Think about how many hours you're spending on something and make sure you're incorporating that into the price. Okay, the fifth and final thing I wish I would have known before I started my business, or at least before I quit my job, is the power of delegation. So this kind of goes along with knowing how valuable your time is. Okay, I'll just say this. Like a lot of entrepreneurs, I pride myself in how many things I can do well. I feel like as entrepreneurs, we're attracted to entrepreneurship because we are Jack and Janes of all trades, right? We can kind of do a lot of different things well, or at least better than average. But I didn't realize how much that was hurting me. I thought I was saving money because I was like, oh, I can do a little graphic design. I can do a little web design. I could do a little video editing. I can do all the things, but I didn't realize how much that was keeping me from strategically planning my business and coming up with a better strategy that can make my business grow even bigger. So now I'm really, really focused on, hiring staff, getting people in my business. I work with virtual assistants. I love VAs from overseas. It's a great way to get affordable help if you're just getting started, but still work with people who are really good at their job. And so I'll include different links that I have below for how I get overseas VAs and even how I get interns for a very, very reasonable price to help me run my business. So those are the 5 things I wish I would have known. Somebody should have told me before I started my business, but 3 years into the game, now I'm telling you, ignore these at your own risk. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.